Today, a final and irrevocable peace in the Middle East was almost established. It is possible that the war between Israel and Iran, which began on Thursday, 2 weeks ago, the night from Thursday to Friday, will still be over today. And Donald Trump will try to take credit for this. No matter what I say next, no matter how much I mock Trump about his role in this process, in this peace process, and I will mock him a lot today. Where can I go? In general, he deserves a lot, yes, for everything he did with Ukraine, for his term. But I must immediately make a disclaimer. Well, of course, I am for this very peace. Of course, I, like no one else, want this peace in the Middle East, peace between Israel and Iran, because these are my friends and relatives in shelters now, these are their children now at the front, and many are fighting with Iran. Well, at least with Gaza, of course, less with Iran, frankly speaking. And Israel already wants peace, because, despite all of Trump's statements, Israel was the first to say that it wants to end this war this week. Netanyahu said this before all of Trump's statements. Netanyahu said that, in general, we have decided on all of our tasks to destroy targets in Iran, the targets being the missile program and the nuclear program. Now we are finishing, he says, we are ready to move on to peace. And that is why I want peace to come to Israel immediately more than Trump does, believe me. In addition, I want this peace not only as a citizen of Israel, but as a resident of Ukraine, because, of course, the world needs to return to our affairs, to remember our war again, because some are already surprised. Mikhail, do you also talk about Ukraine during your broadcasts? Yes, I also talk about Ukraine, because I am in Kyiv and, as they say, this shirt is a little closer to my body in this sense, at this moment, at the moment of what is happening. Therefore, all my step does not mean that I do not want this peace. So, I want it as an Israeli, I want it as a resident of Kyiv. Do I want it as a Latvian? Well, of course, yes. Because our 5% of GDP, which Latvia now spends on defense, will be useful for other purposes. To fight the Russian Federation, to destroy the main aggressor of the modern world. Oh, and today, you know, one night Russian missiles and drones keep me awake. Everything is rumbling outside the window, machine guns are chattering. Another night Trump keeps me awake. He scribbles, scribbles and scribbles, bombs on his social network. I couldn't sleep all night, because he seemed like a robot, he didn't stop. And now I'm inventing this very chronicle of a nosediving chronic for you. It seems to me that this is a chronic disease, a thirst for fame, this is chronic narcissism. Although, who would talk? Yesterday in my honor, by the way, thanks to an unknown author, unknown to me, yesterday on one of the streams, well, to be honest, on Golovanov's stream, the word was invented not by me, one of the viewers. Shadle Mining. Shadle Mining is joining the subscribers of the Shtelman channel. That is, if you sign up now 642,000, you see, subscribers on the Shtelman channel. If you sign up 643,000, then you are kind of doing Shadle Mining. Or I am doing Shadle Mining. You know, this mining of these, as they are called, cryptocurrencies, shite mining is called. What do they have in common? That each subsequent Bitcoin is more and more difficult to create than the previous one, when most have already been mined. So now, of course, most residents of Kyiv are already subscribed to the Shtelman channel or watch it, so Shadle Mining is becoming more and more difficult. Join the Shtelman channel. I stayed up all night for you and followed the newsreel of Donald Trump's nosedive. And now I'll tell you about it. Yes, of course, like this video. I'll be very grateful for any likes. And a poll, probably a poll. Of course, we'll conduct a poll on Telegram. I know the question will be like this. I haven't formulated it yet, but I'll launch it roughly after the release, right after the recording. The question is, who established this peace? Right? That is, the question will be whether this peace has been established in the Middle East, and who established this peace to a greater extent. This is a big question, it seems to me. So, yesterday's newsreel, the time, I'll say right away, is Ukrainian. In America, everything was much earlier. 2253. Donald Trump writes, it would seem that this is quite a bellicose message. Iran officially from yes, I almost forgot. Listen, you know, events in the Middle East, it's true, Donald Trump is developing at a crazy speed. He just said this today. And I almost forgot that yesterday, well, we just discussed this yesterday on other broadcasts. Yesterday, Iran, in fact, responded to the American strikes on nuclear facilities by firing at American facilities, at American military bases in Qatar and Iraq. Well, in fact, Trump's post contains all this information, so I won't bother your ears with unnecessary things. Iran, Trump says, officially responded to our destruction of their nuclear facilities with a very weak reaction. That is, Trump is still making fun of something weakly, saying something, which is what we expected and to which we responded quite effectively. 14 missiles were launched, 13 were shot down, and we let one go because it flew away somewhere we weren't afraid of. Not a single American was hurt. The damage was minimal. Iran, by the way, yes, Iran said that it would launch one missile for every bomb dropped on Frota. No, well, that's cool, one missile for every bomb. That is, like, the score is 1-1, like we played this war to a draw with the Americans. But the Iranians didn't get anywhere. And the Americans, yes, there are some nuances here. The most important thing, Trump says, is that, I hope, they let off some steam and there will be no more hatred. This, of course, is a complete crapshoot. For some reason, it seems to me that there will be hatred among the Iranian people because of these bombings. Yes, the fact that they let off some steam doesn't make it any easier. We know this from our own experience. The fact that we blow up and destroy a lot of Russians doesn't make our hatred of Russians any less. He says, thank you, Iran, for the advance warning, thanks to which no one died or was wounded. That is, Trump generally mocked 3 times put Iran down. Well, really, today is the day of the VDSM. That is, apparently, Iran occupies the same stable position as the Russian Federation in this conflict. Elbows together, knees together. So, he is apparently on his side. Lord, well, forgive me. It looks like this because Iran, it turns out, warned the Americans about which bases it would bomb, so that God forbid no one would be hurt, and the Americans evacuated everyone from the bases in advance. Perhaps, Trump says, Iran will now move towards peace and harmony in the region, and I will enthusiastically call on Israel to do the same. Thank you, he says, for your attention. Oh, please pay attention to the time. 22:53. It is not by chance that I ask you to pay attention. It is not by chance, because at 22:55, that is, 2 minutes pass, 2 minutes, and Trump writes, I want to thank the highly respected Emir of Qatar for everything he is doing to achieve peace in the region. Regarding today's attack on the American base in Qatar, I am pleased to report that in addition to the fact that no Americans were killed or wounded, no Qataris were killed or wounded either. Thank you for your attention to this matter. It is 22:55, that is, in 2 minutes, in another 5 minutes it is 2300. Oh, I get it. When I show my palm, the balls, yes, pop out. I get it. The balls, they pop out of me by themselves. I do nothing about it. This is if you are not listening with the sound, but looking at the image, then balls are flying across my screen right now. I do not know where they come from, by themselves. Such is the program. I could not turn it off. Forgive me if anything. If it is out of place one day, forgive me in advance. I do not control this. It is like Iran's shot at Israel today. Forgive Iran in advance. It was an accident. It did not plan it at all. This missile flew by itself, you know. So, then, after this, a message appears at 2300. 2300 is, accordingly, their time, well, 11 to 7 is, well, 23 minutes past 16, yes, 16 hours Washington time. Congratulations to the world, the time has come for peace, Trump writes. Well, of course, he knew, of course, when he wrote all this was preparation for his main post. That is, he wanted to stake a claim for himself. This whole story about Iran warning us, Iran is ready for peace, that the world of Qatar, I thank him. All this was preparation, artillery preparation to stake a claim for himself with the next message of the night according to our Ukrainian time. Congratulations, he says, to everyone. Congratulations to everyone. A full and final ceasefire agreement has been reached between Israel and Iran. Now pay attention, I will read out the terms of this agreement so that you understand something. It is important, I am reading out this condition. Just try to concentrate. Try it now. Even those who are bad at math and those who are good, try to understand what the greatest president of the United States is saying. The greatest of all U.S. presidents. The most handsome U.S. president. He says the following. In about 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran complete their current missions, there will be a 12-hour ceasefire, after which the war will officially be over. Iran will officially begin the ceasefire, and 12 hours later, Israel will begin it. And in 24 hours, the entire world will cheer the official end of the 12-day war. During each ceasefire, the other side is obligated to maintain peaceful and respectful behavior. Did you understand anything? I didn't, except that first, Trump was the first to describe the terms of the ceasefire. Second, Trump was the first to come up with a name for this war, the 12-day war. He really wants it to go down in history as such. That 6-day war is a very loud story, famous all over the world, in any language. The famous words are the 6-day war, which Israel waged and won. And now he wants to attach the same loud name to this war. Why does he need this? So that it turns out that he stopped something very important. Well, not the war between Israel and Iran, because it is somewhere between Israel and Iran, but he stopped the 12-day war. It is thanks to him that it was 12 days, not 12 years, not 12 months. This was the essence of this message. But this 6, 12, 24 hours, it is as always. He simply did not understand. I am sure that the Emir of Qatar told him. Yes, later we found out that they agreed on everything with the Emir of Qatar, as if the world of Qatar, which, in fact, stopped the war, told him all these conditions. That is, not Trump. Well, one of the main players in this peace process was the Emir of Qatar, and not even Donald Trump. He told, but Trump could not remember. This is exactly as you remember in one of the votes. You then pointed out to me that Trump could not remember the conditions. Yes, today, by the way, vote. As I said, we vote about who stopped the war, and at the same time we subscribe. The reason I am doing this is to collect a subscription to the Telegram channel Mikhail Sherman from Kyiv. There is not enough to reach 100,000 by a tiny bit, like Trump. Well, it does not matter. So he could not understand these conditions, so he retold them like this. God bless Israel, God bless Iran, God bless the Middle East. By the way, Iran too. God bless Iran, he wrote. God bless Iran. Now, I assuming that all this will go as it should, and it will, I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, on the endurance, courage and intelligence that allowed them to put an end to what is now called the 12-day war. Well, first of all, I'm not sure that the Israelis will want to call it a 12-day war. It seems to me that they might not want to. For them, it's not a 12-day war. Why was the 6-day war called that? Because it had its own uniqueness, in that Israel, in record time, defeated the enormous armies of, how many? 4, 5, 6 states, I honestly don't even remember, with which it fought simultaneously on different fronts in a circle, with all at once already in the north, and in the south, in the east. And the Israeli army, numerically inferior to all these armadas many times over, won a total victory in 6 days. Total. And that's what makes this name unique. That's why it's called a 6-day war. That's why it seems to me that the Israelis are now calling this current war, as I already said, Operation People Like a Lion, but in the end it will be called a war, because there are too many dead. It can't be an operation. Israeli civilians don't die in operations, they die in wars. And dozens of Israelis have died. By the way, at least 5 more people died in Beersheba last night from an Iranian missile attack. And this war will be called such and such a war, I don't know, an Iranian war. Some kind of war. Melkmet Iran, probably, or some kind of nuclear Iranian war. Well, that can't be, but it's not for me to make that up. There's a special commission, they'll make it up. But I don't believe that it will be called a 12-year war to lick Donald Trump's ass. I don't believe it. Then, well, by the way, when I saw all this, I started having doubts, because I went to Israeli websites, there was nothing. The texts on Israeli websites were like this. Trump said that the war was over. That is, not a myth, Trump said. Iran made no statements, Israel made no statements. Moreover, some Iranians said that we are not finishing anything, it is all nonsense. Nobody contacted us. And I had my doubts. But then very quickly after that, J.D. Vance spoke. And he said that, in general, he says, tomorrow is a truly new stage, the end of the 12-day war, the end of the Iranian nuclear program. I believe that the time has come for great peace in the Middle East. It seemed to me that J.D., compared to Trump, is not such a windbag, oddly enough. He is not our friend, but nevertheless, his words weigh, as it seems to me, more than usual. And they are not theirs as much as it is impossible to love these words, but I think they can be trusted to a greater extent. And then I believe that all this was serious. And so, in fact, it turned out. I was also thinking, since all this was still there, well, I don't know, 1 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning, I was thinking whether I should go on air, whether I should tell you about this. Then I thought, no, let it all rest. With this Trump, you don't know what to expect. The situation will change every minute, and it is still changing. Here I am writing this on the afternoon of June 24th, BDSM Day, and the situation is changing literally every minute. Whether this world exists or not, no one can say yet. Honestly, my prediction is that it does. My prediction is that the war will really end today one way or another, by and large, which I am incredibly